All right, guys. So where were you in the year 2000? I was entering high school. Andrew, you were probably in high school as well.
My first year of high school was 01. So I was junior high.
Okay. I graduated in 2004, so I was probably in high school.
I graduated in
you
2004.
weren't. No.
You graduated in 2005, I thought.
Yeah.
No, I graduated.
No, I graduated in 2005.
I graduated high school in 2004.
I think he would know.
Yeah.
So,
I
no,
know
I
when
graduated in
high
04, though, but you weren't in high school in 2000.
No.
2000.
If we both graduated in
well,
2004.
in some part of the year you were in high school. The other
That's
part you were
correct.
in junior high school.
That's probably
And the other part
also
was
correct.
summer.
Yes.
So that was sweet.
Yes.
Just saying.
Okay, fair enough. Matt, I guess I didn't realize until last episode that you were a little bit younger than we are.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a
8
little
years
bit.
younger.
Where were you in the year
Little bit.
2000?
I was in kindergarten.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Yep.
My God. My God.
Oh, my
Good
Lanta.
God. Kat, you were
I was like 6.
middle
That's
school?
crazy.
I'd be in 8th grade.
8th grade. Okay. Wow.
I'm only a year younger than you.
Puts things into perspective a little bit. Yeah, you're only a year
Maybe
younger
I was
than
in
me.
first.
Yeah.
It's weird that we graduated the
Give me
same
crap.
year.
Yeah.
That's funny.
How old are you?
I am 35.
So
I'll
I
be
got you by a
36
couple
in
months.
October,
So
yeah.
I got you by, 11 months or 10 months technically. But
Yeah,
I was on the
almost-
cusp. I was
almost
also
a year.
I was also homeschooled to start. So
Okay.
I'll be 28 in September.
Okay. All right. I didn't realize that you were that much younger.
September.
Mazel tov to you, my friend. Mazel tov. Well, hey, anyway, if you have been listening to this month, you know that we are back for another draft this week. My name is Mike. I am the host of the show. I'm joined by my usual co-hosts, Catherine and Andrew. Guys, hello again. And also we have our buddy Matt Audette back
Hi.
for another draft.
Hello.
Haven't we done this before? Oh,
Well, again,
they don't know
multiple episodes. They don't know this. So, guys, we're gonna draft some movies from the decade of the 2000s. What do we think about that? We excited?
I
This
love
is
it.
gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
It's a great,
It's gonna be a fun one.
great decade for horror movies.
Okay.
Gonna be a competitive bout.
Oh, it's gonna be.
I forgot to ask you guys last episode thoughts on there being a new season developed of True Detective called True Detective Night Country with Nick Pizzolatto not being involved.
All I know is that one of the writers, I think, directed Moonlight.
Oh.
Yes,
He's
and-
the
yeah,
producer,
you're right, you're
Barry
correct.
Jenkins,
Yep. Yeah.
and the woman who's going to write and produce it, Issa Lopez.
Yeah.
Lopez. Do you ever see Tigers Are Not Afraid?
No.
She did that movie. She's from Mexico, I believe. But yeah, they're in charge of the new season of True Detective, which I'll take any True
Yeah,
Detective
I'm
that
cool
I
with
can
it.
get, so I'm excited. So we'll
what
see what happens with it, but that was the only piece of news that I found worthy of discussion, while we were clearly not recording these two episodes back-to-back on the same night.
Never.
Definitely 2 weeks in a row. So, guys, we're going back into the 2000s again here. We're going to pick a new draft order. Again, snake style. Worm style.
Worm style.
Worm style.
And,
I love it.
guys, before we talk about the 2000s and draft these movies, do we feel that there are any movies that are untouchable in this decade?
Oh, kind of. Yeah.
And by untouchable, I mean not worthy of drafting, so that we can continue to draft some deep cuts and picks that people might not know as much about from the 2000s.
I feel like Saw is kind of that.
Yeah.
one.
Saw's a big one for me. I also thought of like Shaun of the Dead, The Ring. I feel like
I know The Ring is, but I want to pick it so bad.
I mean, if you were to pick The Ring, I would be fine with it. I feel like there are also other movies that I would consider in this class from the 2000s that
Shaun
other
of the
people.
Dead?
Shaun of the Dead's a classic.
Yeah, I love
think.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's an awesome movie. I guess it is a classic.
I probably watch that movie like 5 times a year.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite horror comedy.
Yeah.
I personally, even though I really thought about taking it, I would probably consider 28 Days Later to be in that category as well.
Yeah.
If you guys
Yeah.
think the same way, I could probably. I have a huge list for this decade, so I have a bunch that I
I'd
could
put Saw in there.
Yeah,
I already
Saw.
said that.
Kat said Saw.
Yeah.
yeah.
I Saw as you.
I mean, is there anything else that we haven't talked about yet? So like maybe Saw, Shaun of the Dead, 28 Days Later.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you want to pick The Ring, I'm not going to stop you.
yeah.
I'm not going to pick it. So.
No,
I personally have been very vocal against PG-13 horror, even though I did pick Arachnophobia. But still.
Okay, well, hey,
doesn't
so
count.
again,
I'm
it's
just
up
scared.
to up to interpretation for all here. So let's pick a new draft order, and Andrew, do the sound effect.
That was terrible.
I didn't know I was doing the sound effect. I wasn't ready for it.
So, here's the order this time around. I have the number 1 overall pick.
Fuck.
Andrew has the number 2 overall pick.
All right.
Then we have Matt with the number 3 overall pick.
I'm fourth
And
again?
Kat 4th for 2 in a row.
So should we just
yet
That's
again.
fine. That's fine.
Are you worried about her picking any of your picks?
No.
Yeah, so we should just go.
I don't think so. At least not. She might pick a couple of them.
All right.
What if I want to be fourth?
Do it if you want.
Trade
You're
picks if you
giving my
want to.
pick
I mean,
away.
if you guys
yes.
want to talk some trades, then go ahead.
Do you want fourth pick?
I'll be 4th pick. I'll take 2 in a row.
I'll give you fourth.
And what do you get?
So that means that.
A hug.
No, I don't want anything. I'm
So they've
a generous
swapped picks. So
person.
now
I just gave my pick.
Kat is 3rd. So
Yeah, see now it's
so
just
now it goes this way.
Yeah, that's what
That
I
was
was.
the
That
same
was
thing.
I was
Yeah.
going for. I was
Okay,
just
there we go.
All it was
That's
was throwing
beautiful.
Andrew in a
I
mental
I
pretzel.
took one for the team
I was like,
so
what
that
is
we wouldn't
this?
be like, wait.
Weird
Yeah.
shit.
All
is
right,
real
fair
weird.
enough. Fair enough. All right, so I think, man, I'm gonna try and go off the board here because, again, a lot of these movies I really consider to be classics in my mind.
The
that I
Scorpion King.
Yeah, the Scorpion King is going to be my first pick. I am going to go way off the board, and I'm going to take a reimagining of a Universal Classic Monsters story from the year 2000. I'm going to take Hollow Man, another
cool.
Kevin Bacon
That's
movie. Kevin Bacon, Josh Brolin, Elizabeth Shue.
Awesome.
There's a few other people in it that are pretty famous as well. But this is essentially a take on The Invisible Man. It's got Kevin Bacon starring as a doctor that invents a serum that turns you invisible, and he ends up taking it, testing it on himself before it's, he really should have, and it drives him mad, sends him on a crime spree where I just think some of the coolest parts about this movie, the CGI is actually pretty decent.
It was nominated for Best Visual Effects.
I was going to
for an
say,
Oscar.
yeah, it had to have been because they were pretty good. Like the opening scene where they tested on like that gorilla,
Yeah.
and the gorilla disappears, wild shit,
Yeah.
like crazy shit. I personally love
That's scary. An invisible
Scary.
gorilla,
So good,
dude.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
lot. That's
and
a
it's like
bold.
a
They could have
big-
used any other animal.
big
A
gorilla.
lizard,
Yeah,
a
right.
worm.
But I just think like the creepiest things for me are when Kevin Bacon is invisible and he puts on that like skin suit to leave the lab, and he's wearing like the sunglasses
Oh,
and
yeah.
the hoodie and the
Yeah, he
hat,
just looks gross.
and he just looks disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, he turns into I wouldn't say
He
turns
kinda
into. He
looks
probably
like
was
Kevin
a despicable person beforehand. But like he,
Well, it's like the-
clearly like rapes that woman across the way,
Yeah.
kills people,
He's so
like
creepy
so
in this.
fucking weird, and it brings into, it makes you think about like if you were given that power, like what would you do with that?
Yeah.
Would you be a good person? Would you be a bad person? Like what would you use it for? And like if you develop that type of serum, ultimately, what are you giving it to people for? Right? Military type
Yeah.
stuff, like law enforcement type stuff.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is the
Or
benefit
just to
of
like
that?
commit.
Right?
Like, is it a black market thing? So
Right.
people can go commit crimes. Yeah.
Right? I just think it's a Paul Verhoeven movie who directed RoboCop, Starship Troopers,
What a fucking dog.
Fatal Attraction, or
Really?
what's the one with Sharon Stone?
That's
Yeah.
Fatal
That's
Attraction.
Fatal Attraction
With Michael Douglas.
Yep, Michael
too, yeah.
Douglas. Yep.
Michael Douglas.
So it's a Paul
Michael Douglas.
Verhoeven movie.
So
Verhoeven.
he likes some
Verhoeven.
creepy movies.
Oh yeah, didn't he do? He did Showgirls, I think too. I think he did this movie, and he did all those. So it's just an
What a
interesting. It's an
list.
interesting take on a classic monster concept of the Invisible Man, and I think they do it in a really over the top '90s way that I think still
2000s
holds up well. Sorry, 2000s way. Forgot.
We're off.
Right
We're
on the
talking-
very beginning.
We're
of
talking
What
about
did
right
you
at the
get?
beginning.
It's essentially a '90s movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm taking Hollow Man, number 1 overall.
Cool.
So I'm going off the
Wow.
board. Off the
Wow.
board.
That was pretty good. I liked it.
Yes. Sorry, so that means
I thought that's off the
Andrew.
board.
No, I was on my list.
Was it really?
I didn't have it on mine.
I didn't have it on mine,
completely overlooked
But
that one.
as soon as it was a monster movie,
Also, by the way, if you have not seen the most recent Invisible Man movie, that movie was fantastic.
really
Yeah, that
good.
movie was
really
sick.
fucking
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Elizabeth Moss.
It's a shame that it didn't
Elizabeth
get
Moss.
the
Yeah.
full theatrical release that it deserved.
I know. That was
It
right at
would've
the
went
beginning of
through the
COVID.
roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, missed
All right.
out.
So that means we're to you, right, Andrew?
Yes, I'm going to go with the 2008 Swedish romantic horror
Yeah.
directed by Thomas Alfredson. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Let the Right One In. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
it's a pretty solid movie.
Starting off foreign right off the bat.
Yeah,
Like,
I wanted to get it in before you did because
I actually-
foreign movies.
I did not have this one.
Oh, okay. It's probably one of my favorite like vampire movies because it's so different.
Yeah.
And it's shot so beautifully. Like it's such a it's
very like
it's like
soft.
a teenage it's like a
but not,
Stand
like,
by
soft,
Me
yeah.
but like not with it's not even like that. It's just weird and just delicate.
Yeah.
It's very delicate, but it's also very gruesome in some of the scenes. You ever seen this movie?
Oh yeah,
Like the Swedish version or the remake?
I've seen both.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have
I've
you?
seen both.
You've obviously seen the remake.
Yeah, I saw the remake, not the original.
And the remake's awesome too.
The
Yeah,
original
remake's
one
good,
is
too.
just the remake's awesome, but like just some of the scenes, like when at the very end of the movie when the kid's in the swimming pool
Yeah.
and he's getting bullied and they're just like keeping him on for 3 minutes, and you see the head fall down and the kid's arm floats off.
Yeah.
So gruesome. Like she's picking him to be like her new, basically like Renfield,
Buddy.
essentially.
Yeah.
Familiar?
Like, yeah, that's her familia. But like the guy, but then the dad, like not the dad, but like her old familia gets like the acid burn, and he like does everything he can for her.
Yeah.
It's just like it's such a sad. It's such a dreary. It doesn't feel like a vampire movie,
Yeah.
but it's just so beautiful and just
Yeah.
dark and twisted and sad and
I love any of the scenes when they're out in the snow.
Yeah,
and
and
it
they're just
captures that
talking.
like silence of like
Yeah.
snowfall so perfectly.
and they're just hanging out on the swing set, and it's so morbid, but it's just so nice.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just such a pretty movie. I
Well
love that
said.
movie. It's just beautiful.
It's a
Well
beautiful
said.
horror movie.
It's one of my favorites.
Solid first pick.
I think it's kind of tough to do. Like I kind of hold like zombie and vampire movies in the same regard, but it's kind of tough to do different things with them these days. And that movie did something different with the vampire genre, right? Like I just feel like that movie and the remake to a certain extent, but the original.
If
was
you
better.
could ever humanize a vampire movie, they did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like it was.
and it's
completely
still
humanized.
fucking violent and gruesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some
Awesome.
gory scenes
Like,
in it.
There's some
oh,
real
yeah.
fucked up scenes in that
Yeah.
movie.
And like when you take into account
Like the bathtub scene where,
the villain's
like-
a kid, like it's just so fucking
Remember
crazy.
that scene, the bathtub
you know?
scene?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so gross. It's
Yeah.
just like, like right on his neck.
Yeah.
So good. I love it.
So,
Anyways.
let the right one in. Nice pick, Andrew. All right, so that means we're to Kat, correct?
Yes.
All right, Kat. What are we doing?
It's my time to shine.
Let's see what we're gonna take off the Kat list.
So I'm not gonna pick Saw, and I'm not gonna pick The Ring because they're too basic. So I'm gonna go with my third favorite movie of the 00 decade. The remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
I was literally about to pick this
That
one
was
next.
gonna be.
'Cause I knew I had to
I
pick
should
that
have picked that first, and I
Duh!
didn't. Fuck
Like,
you,
hello?
idiot! I blew that one. God damn it!
It's so awesome. Why
Yeah, that
wouldn't
movie
you
is
pick
insane.
that?
It's a great movie.
I was
Yeah.
worried he was gonna pick my.
I was
fucking-
100% going to pick The Hills Have Eyes
Yeah.
next because I knew that I was like I have 2 picks in a row. I was like I can
You
bang it
shouldn't have-
out.
You shouldn't have switched picks with me.
But then he
I wouldn't
also
have-
made
I
that
wouldn't have picked
comment
it first.
about like
Yeah.
remakes in the 2000s. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna pick a remake. And then he picks
No,
it.
it's
And then you picked
so
this.
good.
I hate you so much.
So good. I love it.
Ruined everything.
I mean, yeah. I mean, everything about it. All the, I mean,
Super
obviously,
violent.
so violent.
Ultra violent.
The cast is good, from the annoying like people like Claire from Lost, whatever her name is, the blonde girl who's
Oh,
a
yeah,
teeny
yeah,
bopper.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
so annoying. To like all of the like mutant kind of like weirdo nuclear
Deformed desert cannibal people. Yeah,
cannibal
sure.
people. Everything is like perfect and creepy and like terrifying all in the same sense, and they do everything wrong that you could do when you stop at a gas station and ask for directions. We're gonna go up the highway and do this and whatever, and like they end up in the middle of nowhere where the nuclear war zone is or whatever when they're testing nuclear bombs. There's these secret people, and I don't need to go over this. It's a remake, so it's fine.
I'm sorry. That movie's scary.
It's
as shit.
absolutely
The movie's very,
horrifying.
very,
Really scary.
very hardcore. The
Yeah.
original one is like pretty much similar,
Yeah.
minus like him going into the town and like really fucking
Yeah.
shit up.
That's the best thing about the movie is
I thought
what a
so,
fucking
too. The
dweeb
underdog
he is.
guy,
Doug
yeah.
is just this loser,
Yeah.
fucking kid, and then all of a sudden he just turns into some badass. He
Yeah.
just starts slaying people with an axe. That's what. And the
Yeah.
Him and the dog fucking
big
shit
brain
up.
gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Mauls
probably like 11 or 12 when I first watched this, and I remember it being the first movie that I was watching that I had to take 5.
Yeah.
It was like there's that
Yeah.
assault on the whole family
Right.
Yeah.
in the camper.
Oh,
like
that's
so
so
many
fucked.
people die at once, and I
Yeah.
was just like,
You're like, oh my
It's a
god.
lot of fucking
Meanwhile,
right
Buffalo
now.
Bill's getting lit on fire. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, it was
on
a
a
lot,
cross,
dude.
like in
Yeah.
the middle of the desert.
Was
But
she a great big fat woman? And she's
yeah.
burning alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardcore is a great way to describe
Yeah,
this movie.
absolutely.
It's so
It's
fucked.
really hard.
And it's like
Yeah.
even the original one was that hardcore too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Dude, even like the subtle stuff, like like when Ted Levine's character finds the guy like in the outhouse and he blows his head off with
Yeah.
a shotgun.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Gruesome, yeah.
That is nasty.
Yeah.
Everything about this movie is just
Yeah.
nasty, gritty, gross, grimy. Like pick an adjective.
And creepy when you see the
Yeah.
whole like binoculars when they're looking at people, and like even at the very end when you're like, oh, they're still out there. And
there was just like weird like period in the 2000s where you had these just insanely violent movies
Yep.
that like would full blown show like a sexual assault. Like
Oh, yeah.
They don't
there's
even
nothing.
care.
It
They're
was
just like, no.
I couldn't believe that. Like looking back with these movies, that they were wide release,
yeah,
like theatrical
the torture
release
porn
movies. I was
series.
like, holy shit, dude! Like,
Yeah,
they got
we
away
are
with all this
right in the throes of the torture porn
stuff.
Torture
porn era.
torture
I mean,
porn.
yeah. I feel like any number of movies you could pick from this decade.
Yeah, there's
are
some
all
really
cut from
hardcore
cloth.
stuff,
Yeah, for
so.
sure. Like really demented shit. So, oh, nice pick, Kat. That's a
Matt
good
that was
movie.
good pick.
That's a real. That's probably the best pick you've had so far. The entire.
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
The entire my only pick. Yeah, it's the best pick. Thank you.
No, I'm
now
not
I'm
saying
done.
that.
Mic drop.
No, the best pick. The best pick. There you go.
Well, since I have two in a row, now I'm going to use another big steel pick because that was going to be my big steel pick.
It's cutthroat.
I'm going to go with 2005 Neil Marshall's The Descent.
Ooh, I
So
had on my list too.
this tackles so many different kinds of fucking fears. The loss of a loved one, claustrophobia, the dark, fucking breaking a bone and being stuck like anything like that, and then obviously these fucking humanoid monsters. That movie is so cool because when it came out, people didn't really know like what was gonna happen, and you think that they're just like stuck and you don't really know what's going on. Like clearly they went splunking, and one of the girls falls, so like breaks her leg, like really fucks her shit up.
Right. Yeah.
And they're all stuck, like and like I think a rock falls, so they're like underground, they can't get out. And
Yeah.
then they realize that there's something else in there, but you don't really know what it is. Then you realize it's like these like fucking humanoid bat creature things, and they just wreak absolute havoc on them and just eat everybody.
Yeah.
And it's so well done, dude. It's such a good horror movie. Definitely, I would say it's got to be the top 3, one of the best horror movies to get released in this decade.
I don't even think it's close, and I agree with you 100%. And I think
Original
what I
concept, too.
realized. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think like going back and researching this decade, this was like the first decade where like the majority of these like big releases, I saw these in theaters. So I remember seeing The Descent in theaters. My buddy Sean, and I was not prepared for how scary this fucking movie
there's some
was.
definitely good jump scares.
I am terribly claustrophobic. I love monster shit. The night vision scare, an all-time scare. I mean, it's in the trailers.
The car accident,
But-
the opening sequence goes super under radar
Oh
too. It
my
happened in the
God.
first
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes of the
Yeah.
movie. So
This movie rocks so hard,
Yeah.
and again, hardcore.
wicked good fake out
Oh,
ending too.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. And
Bleak.
incredibly violent.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's all females in the cast. I love the fact that there's
Girl
drama
power.
between all of them, and
Yeah.
I love the fact that there's like retribution at the end of this movie. It gives it like that extra layer of like we've talked about this before on the show, but like okay, what is the plot of this movie aside from the fact that there are monsters?
Yeah.
Is it a good plot? Yep, there's drama
Yeah.
between these two characters, and you know what? Hey, they're underground and there's monsters.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that much better because there's that extra layer of just shit going on that you're invested in, that you care about. And
Right.
I think that I love everything about The Descent, but
Yeah.
that takes it over the edge for me because it gives you that emotional and this visceral buy-in to this movie, and it's fucking incredible. I love The Descent.
And the main girl too evolves the same as the guy from Hills Have Eyes. Like she's this meek, like kind of pansy girl at the beginning, and at the end she's the one that's like coming out of the blood, being like, "I'm surviving."
That's about as an iconic of a final girl scene as you'll get in this decade. Is her kind of
is it really
rising
even
up out of
final girl?
Oh yeah, she's a final girl.
I mean, I would. She's maybe not technically, but when she comes up out of that water and she's like soaked in bloodish,
pretty memorable.
Whatever the fuck it is, that is awesome.
Until she's not above ground.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I also love the poster. I love that it's like they make a skull with like all the women doing like basically like yoga poses around.
Great stuff.
Cool, very creative.
Great stuff.
So that's my first pick.
What's your second pick?
My second pick is going to be Eli Roth, 2002 Cabin Fever.
Ooh, okay. I actually had this on my list, too.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
Love this movie. It's great body horror. There's some really gruesome, just like gut-wrenching scenes in it. With Ryder Strong, his lifetime crush. They contract a flesh-eating disease from this like fucking hermit guy in the woods while they're out camping for spring break. And guy like pukes blood all over their car, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? They end up lighting the guy on fire, not even on purpose. It's just kind of like trying to get him to go away, and they end up lighting him on fire. The guy dies, so it's like they're already like in this like crazy situation where like, holy fuck, we just fucking killed this guy. Like, what are we gonna do? Next thing they know, they're all getting sick, and their skin is eating itself, and they're rotting away like while they're alive. And so Ryder Strong, his crush, gets it. She's the first one to go. He has what I believe is called, when they made the movie, the finger bang misfire. If you haven't seen it, then you're in for quite a fucked up scene. They banish her to a shed where she can't, like, they don't want to get sick. And it comes to the point that Ryder Strong realizes she's so far gone, her face is completely gone. He kills her with a shovel. It's like there's nothing else. Like you know what I mean? And so he beats her to death with a shovel.
I mean,
and it's just so fucked up.
It's
and
gross. It's
from there it just goes completely off the fucking rails.
The shaving scene.
Yeah, the shaving scene is
yikes.
So if you haven't seen Cabin Fever, there's a remake of it that sucks. Don't watch the remake. But if you haven't seen the original one, watch the original one. I haven't seen any of the sequels. I don't know how those are.
I don't either.
But definitely, I actually think Ty West directed one of the sequels.
Really?
Yeah, he kind of snuck that one in there.
Interesting.
I could be wrong, but I can confirm in a minute. But because I was looking at his IMDb thing the other day. But Cabin Fever, unbelievably good horror movie. Funny, has some kind of fucked up parts in it that I don't think would play very well today. But what are you going to do? Is 2002 people were kind of fucking
things were a little bit different then.
Yeah.
So this is about where my use for Eli Roth, in terms of his movies he's directed, begins and ends.
That was his first movie.
Yeah, I know.
You like Hostel?
Yeah. The first Hostel's okay.
Hostel's good.
I like Hostel.
I have no use for Hostel
Wolf
2.
Creek.
Don't ruin my
He
next
didn't do
pick.
Wolf Creek.
I know, but Wolf Creek's
my God.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hostel, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Green Inferno wasn't great.
Green Inferno sucked. The Knock Knock movie with Keanu Reeves was okay. I don't know. I just
love Ana de Armas.
I think yeah, she's great. I just think Eli Roth has made a career out of making clones that are lesser movies of the original that he's trying.
I think Cabin Fever definitely was his like shining star. And Hostel's
it's a good
Hostel's
it's a
good.
Hostel's okay.
Why you gotta hate on
I honestly
sorry,
think
Kat's gonna
Hostel's
talk
great.
about Hostel, so okay. I'm assuming
No one pick Hostel.
Yeah, you're waving your hand.
Well, I mean, I'm next pick, so I can. No one's gonna.
Yeah.
You're not next week.
Well, I
Yes, I
guess
am.
what I was trying to say.
it's
No, it's back
Going
this way.
way.
So what I was trying to say was,
Worm.
Cabin Fever is a great movie, and while Eli Roth isn't my favorite, this is my favorite of his movies.
Yeah.
I think by a landslide. So great pick with Cabin Fever.
Thank you.
Katrin,
Yeah.
You're
what's
up.
up?
you're up.
So my next pick is going to be the movie that you guys were just mentioning. That's 2005's Hostel. I'm going to continue on with the torture porn theme, since we were kind of talking about that.
Sure.
So we have two guys that are just graduated, and they're like, oh man, let's go backpack through Europe before we like start our lives, and they go to Amsterdam, and they're just idiots, like, you know, wandering around and
having sex, drinking, doing drugs,
having a good time. They meet this guy Ollie, and he says, oh yeah, you know, you really want to party, like follow me, and he gets him like into all this like whole other area where he's then
They go to like Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, they find themselves in a very sticky situation, to say the least. But
putting it super light.
Yeah. Just they get themselves in a very sticky situation. It's so funny because when we were watching earlier tonight, we were watching a few like recap things of like movies from the 90s, and one of the things was from Hostel, and I forgot this one because I haven't actually seen it.
2000s.
What did I say?
90s.
Oh shit! Sorry.
It's okay.
So from the Zero Zeros, we'll call them.
The 00s, yeah. The 1900s.
The 1900s.
The 00s.
Oh, I don't. That's gonna confuse me even more.
That's okay. Go ahead. I'm just fucking with you. Jesus Christ.
The whole scene with the guy who like burns the chick's eye.
Oh yeah,
out.
man.
Oh my god, I forgot about that with the blowtorch.
Nasty.
And then he cuts her eye off, and then the pus comes out of her eye.
Well, he
It,
like tries to like help her. He's
Oh.
like, yeah. To me, the scene before that, where you see where he meets that dude in the bathroom,
that's the best part of the
way
movie.
scarier than like any of the gore.
The
'cause
American
it's like,
businessman.
Like this dude's just like fired up to just like kill an innocent woman, and it's like awful.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
And then like the other guy who's like, the guy's like, oh no, yeah, kill me, whatever, and then he's like finally puts like the choker thing in the guy's mouth to like shut him up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, but that whole movie is just like
The
one
Achilles
scene
tendon
after.
thing.
That's
oh my
a
god,
nasty part.
Yeah.
There's so many parts in that movie that are just hard to watch, I feel like.
So I'll say, like, I don't hate this movie. It's just not one of my personal favorites.
Right.
I also remember seeing this movie in theaters, and I made the mistake of smoking a blunt with a couple of my friends before we saw this movie. And I remember sitting in there, like, during the previews, I was like, I am too high to handle this right now. Am I really okay to watch people get tortured?
Yeah.
And I was freaking the fuck out. But thankfully, like, the first hour of the movie is just sex.
Right.
Hot.
And then finally, I started to come down, and I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. And then the gore is very, very, very gory. Very satisfying ending. But, yeah, I think I'm with Matt. Like, the most disturbing part of the movie is when, you know, Jay Hernandez runs into that guy. Like, hey, like, how should I do this? How should
what
I
are you
go about
doing? What do you plan on doing?
Because, like, it's plausible, right? That, like, these things might happen over there. And, like, the dark corners of the world, like, you could see it happening. It's not far-fetched.
They probably happen in this fucking country, too.
I'm sure there's places you can do that type of shit. So it's like, it's wild to think about, which makes that concept scary. But for me, it's an exercise in gore, and there's some disgusting shit in this movie, and even more disgusting shit in the sequels. I think of which I've only seen the second one. Yeah,
the second one kind of has a morality flip in it that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Which kind of keeps me from being like, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
Because that part is actually really like insane.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my number 2.
I like it.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Wow,
Couple Eli Roth movies back to back.
Right off the rip.
How about that? Eli Roth, Pride of Massachusetts, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
From Newton?
Yeah, he's from somewhere just north of Boston, I think.
All right. Mr. Andrew, that means we're to you.
I'm going to start off by saying this movie is criminally underrated, criminally underseen.
Okay.
I'm willing to bet that you haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. And I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't seen this movie.
Oh, boy.
By the last one, he's talking to Matt.
Yeah, because if anyone has seen this movie, it might be Matt. And the movie is 2002 May.
Yeah.
You've seen May?
Yep.
Okay.
I almost actually put it on the
Haven't
list.
seen it. Don't know what it is.
No.
It's pretty fucking creepy.
It's such a fucking weird movie.
Yeah.
And
It's
it was.
basically,
sad.
it's almost like, it's like a very upsetting, depressing, unnerving, like,
An Andrew movie.
Twisted.
generally
Very
just
twisted.
feel bad for the main character, even though she's fucking weird as fuck. And she's just this poor girl who
She's a
just
product of her
never
environment.
found, she never found, no one ever, like her mom said, if you can't make a friend, make a friend.
Yeah.
And she made her a doll to be her friend because she didn't have any friends.
That's really sad.
Poor girl May. But then she's this...
She gets, like, bullied.
she's bullied. She becomes a veterinarian, and she goes on these weird dates, but no one seems to get her, and no one seems to love her the way that her doll loved her. So she basically just, all these people that she had, like Anna Faris is in it, which is
random.
weird.
That's
she
random.
looks wicked hot in this movie, and she's got like dark hair, and so she has a little fling with Anna Faris, and then she has another fling with this guy.
She's
and
just
then
kind
another
of
girl. Yeah, just these like little
getting
flings,
attention where she can get
and they eventually just leave her, and she just wants to be loved. And so what she does is, at one part, she just kills all of them and takes certain body parts from each one and pretty much makes her own doll that will love her.
Well, someone like fucks her doll up.
Yeah,
that she has.
Yeah, her doll. But
Someone
then
gets-
that leads to this.
Yeah.
Like her freaking out. She literally like stabs her own eyeball out with a pair of scissors and puts it on the doll and just yells, "See me," as if to say, "Just will you just like just
Love
see
me."
me,
Yeah.
love me?" And somebody
It's
just
super-
It's
super
so fucking
insane.
dark.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking weird movie.
Jesus.
And the main person was actually in the remake of Carrie, the 2002 Carrie,
The one
Angela
with
Bassett.
the TV one?
Chloe
Angela Bettis.
or whatever.
No, that's the 2013 movie.
Like
There was
the
like a
remake.
TV
there
movie
was a
remake.
Oh, I don't know if I knew
Yeah.
about that one. How many Carrie remakes have there been? Jesus Christ.
2.
Okay. How many remakes
weird
of the
fucking
remake
movie,
have there
though.
been?
I don't know.
You
It
should
is.
watch
It is a
Well,
weird
you
movie.
never
It's
know.
like
So
I
it's
was
called
like curious
May,
what you're gonna
Andrew,
say, and you're like, I
uh,
might have not seen
Like
it.
like M-A-Y, May,
Yeah.
like the
M-A-Y,
month.
like
Okay.
May.
If
Like
you
it's
saw the
remember
poster,
May,
you would
May.
100% be like, "Oh, I know what that is."
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I
Like,
will
you've
check
seen
that out.
the poster
I've
before.
never. I don't know if I ever.
It's
saw
just
that before.
weird. It's a weird movie.
Okay.
So makes sense.
Okay. So May.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on May?
It's fucked up.
It's gonna
It's
be
upsetting.
mine.
It's not. It's
It's gonna be May in a few
It's
weeks.
not a sunny.
It's not a fun movie
It's
to
not a
like
fun
sit
movie.
through.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's an upsetting movie.
All right, so I'm going to go with the 2006 movie next here, and I would be surprised if anybody else had this on their
Is
radar.
it Slither?
It's not Slither.
Is it a worm?
Is it a worm movie?
No, it's not a
Is
worm
this
movie.
something that slithers in it?
So I'm going to go with Silent Hill,
Oh, okay.
which I
Love
actually think is probably the best, or one of the best video game adaptation
For sure.
movies. I think this
Probably the
effectively,
best one.
it has to be, right? At least for horror video games. I think it captures the feel of the game in terms of the atmosphere. It's very foggy. It's a weird, like, decrepit ghost town. And not only do you get, like, that creepy element of it, you don't know what's going on, but you also get, like, the nurses. You get Pyramid Head. And when you see Pyramid Head in this movie, you have to be familiar with,
Pyramid
like,
Head
Silent
is
Hill a little bit.
fucking
Like, it's
scary
fucking
as
scary
fuck. Oh, yeah.
and huge, and what he does to people is weird and gross and insane. So it's just like, I feel like the style of the original Silent Hill games is so very Japanese horror.
Is that a Capcom game like Resident
Yes.
Evil? It is. Okay.
Yes, I believe so.
That makes sense.
And this movie like captures that feel. Like there's no feel good element about this movie. It's a movie that
She's looking for a missing daughter. which is
begins
already sad.
shit gets fucked up, and then it ends without a happy resolution, and it's insane. Kat and I actually walked through a haunted house based on this movie
Yeah, it was good.
at Universal Studios in Florida when we went on our second vacation ever, like probably like 9 or 10 years ago at this point. That was really cool. They had like Pyramid Head on stilts just running out at you. Like
That's
it was
terrifying.
fucking crazy
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, I just think it's a great movie. It's a really scary movie, and it's really weird. And
I love the
obviously
setting.
you get Ned Stark in it, Sean Bean. You get Laurie Holden, who played Andrea in The Walking Dead. I forget Radha Mitchell, I believe, is the actress
Yep.
that plays Sean Bean's wife, and then a few other like probably pretty famous people. But like, it just descends into nightmare fuel. Once she
all
gets
it is,
further and
like
further
a
into the town, like,
legitimate
it is just
nightmare.
like there is no redeeming qualities, like nothing. It's just dark, scary, and fucked up. And I love this movie. I think it's awesome. So,
Yeah. Solid pick.
Silent Hill.
I definitely didn't have that one. I totally overlooked that.
Yeah,
There's a handful of video game movies that came out in the 2000s.
yeah, and I think this
Curious to
one
see
kind
if
of
another
this
one pops up.
one stands on the shoulders of all those.
I
It
agree.
is way, way, way better. So that's what I got. So I have 2 in a row, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going huge here, and I'm going with a movie that I simply cannot ignore because I ignored a movie by my buddy David Fincher in the '90s that I can't ignore this movie, and I'm going with a 2007 movie directed by David Fincher, and it's called Zodiac.
Oh, yeah, I was like I'm like, what could this be?
Yeah.
Great pick.
I'm sorry, I can't ignore this. It's probably a movie that we'll never dedicate a full episode to on the podcast. The acting is phenomenal.
It is
The
a very good
story
movie.
is phenomenal.
It's a long movie
It's
too.
long
which is cool.
as shit. And you know what? If you've gone out and you've seen this new Batman movie, Zodiac is very, very much like that movie. It's like a crime procedural with a Zodiac killer. And if you watch the Batman, the Batman is a crime procedural with the Riddler taking place of the Zodiac killer.
The Hulk is in it.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh wow, I forgot Robbie Downey Jr.'s in it too. Yeah.
Oh,
Robert Downey
awesome.
Jr. is the best part of the movie, to be honest with you. You get John Carroll Lynch as the suspect for the Zodiac killer. But I mean, everything about this movie is Fincher through and through, and I think this is... I mean, 7 is my 1A. This is probably 1B. I also think The Social Network is a perfect movie.
I love Fight Club.
I love Fight Club too. I love Gone Girl. I love Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He's my favorite living director now these days. I think it's bar none by far. But this movie, it just nails the crime procedural element mixed with like the journalistic element of covering this case, mixed with like how much fear gripped Northern California when this was going on. I feel like they nail that part of it. And the Zodiac stuff that they actually do show in the movie is terrifying. Especially the part where there's the couple that's on that remote lake in the middle of nowhere, and the Zodiac shows up with the hood on, like, with the gun, with the knife. He ties them up. He stabs the girl in the back.
Like multiple.
Oh my God,
Like,
it's so
gruesome.
horrifying because, again, these are things that could happen and do happen probably
did happen.
every day and did happen to real people with the names that these actors are playing. So, and it's just such a great mystery. In another movie that doesn't have a definitive ending, you are kind of left on a cliffhanger, but it's so well acted, it's so well done. I can't say enough good things about Zodiac. I think it actually might be my favorite movie of the 2000s.
It might be one of the best movies of the 2000s. Like top five. That's
it's
the top
absolutely one of the best movies of the 2000s. But I think it's probably my personal favorite. So yeah, this is a director in his stride, hitting on all cylinders with a bunch of actors giving awesome performances. Even somebody like Mark Ruffalo's partner, who's played by Anthony Edwards from fucking ER. That's a great role.
You know what I find?
Great role.
Like, great movie, but I'm so surprised by the fact that there's like literally like I don't think there's one worm in this movie.
There are no worms.
Dude, the picnic
worms.
scene is fucking insane. Dude, that's rough.
Yeah. Oof. Man. But yeah, and so who was it that forgot that Downey was in this movie?
I did.
Because he's fucking awesome in this
He's
too.
awesome.
He's so good.
Such a pompous asshole.
So good. The part where he's trying to so Jake Gyllenhaal's character is a big nerd, and he figures out like part of the Zodiac cipher, and he's like, how the fuck did you figure that out?
What are you?
All right, let's.
Serial killer?
We're leaving work right now. It's like 10:30 in the morning. Let's go to the bar. And Jake Gyllenhaal orders like that blue martini drink. And he's like, that. What is that? It's whatever he says it is. And then all of a sudden it just cuts to a scene where Downey Jr., there's like 4 of them on the bar in front of him empty, and he's like drinking a 5th one. It's like fucking doing coke at the bar, like
just,
ripping. Such a great character. And that movie's so awesome. So I didn't want to pick 7 in the 90s, but I felt like I had to. I had to give Zodiac some cred. Because, again, I don't know if we'll ever cover it in a full episode in the show, but I had to give it some love here. So Zodiac.
Cool.
That's what I'm going with. So that means that we're back to Andrew, right?
Back to Andrew.
Back to me?
Back
Oh, wait,
or
in
who are we next?
time.
Who are we?
It's Andrew's turn.
Yeah, okay, Andrew's turn.
Oh man.
Andy, my boy.
I wasn't ready for a 4th one. Well, actually, I was.
Third.
The 3rd one, but you stole my pick.
Cry about it.
I don't know
What
what
was
to
it?
go
What was
with.
your second one again?
Eyes. Oh,
I
that
had
was
May.
mine.
May.
Oh.
That's what it
And
was.
yeah,
Okay.
let the right one in was the first one. So I would be remiss if I didn't pick a Clive Barker movie
Yeah.
from every generation. Midnight Meat Train, 2000.
Oh, I knew you were going to pick this. My boy Bradley Cooper and
Bradley
Vinnie
Cooper,
Jones.
stud,
Yeah.
playing like a photographer who just gets a little too down and deep with the dirty nitty gritty that goes on the train.
Dirty nitty gritty.
Yeah, he starts dealing with a serial killer, and then is it reptiles and reptilians? It's wild.
Underground creatures.
Dude, it's a Clive Barker movie. Like, what do you expect? You think it's going to be normal? No, it's just like, it's madness. So if you haven't seen it, just watch it. It's so good.
It's
And
violent as shit.
It's so it's
Yeah.
like super violent.
It's called The Midnight
and it was on
Meat Train.
IFC. That's like where it first
Yeah.
came out, like
Yeah.
in like 2000.
I'm pretty sure that movie's also on Tubi right now because I had
oh,
that
sure.
on
If it's
my.
not at least on Netflix.
I had that on my list, and I looked up where
it was on IFC at
streaming.
night.
Yeah,
like
It was on Netflix for a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
it's a
surprised.
solid
if it still
movie.
is.
yeah.
It's not worth not watching. It's Clive Barker, so watch it.
And it's an Andrew pick. It's a Clive Barker pick.
Yep.
So. All right, Kat. So that means that we are on to you. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
It's my turn. My turn.
All
Ready?
right. What are you going with?
Ready for the gato pick. Number 3. I'm going to pick The Strangers. Did I
Had a
steal one of them?
Nope.
Had a feeling this movie was going to get picked by you.
It's 2008, The Strangers. Yeah, I was kind of, dabbling which one I was going to do. This one won in my
Very
head.
scary movie.
Very
Terrifying
scary movie.
movie,
Yeah, it's got, Liv Tyler in it.
Horrifying.
I don't really know.
Dennis from Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah, Dennis is in it. From Always
Really?
Sunny.
Oh, yeah. He's the
yeah.
guy that gets his head blown off with a shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
wow,
funny.
I never noticed that. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I know. We were actually going to do a podcast with his dad. And
My
then
dad wants to
scheduling-
talk about this movie so bad, and he was supposed to come down and do it with us, and he just wasn't able to because he was on call for work. So we're still keeping that movie on hold for my dad.
Yeah, but
I have the outline written and everything, so it's just a
Ready to
matter
go.
of my
Just
dad
pull the
ready to
trigger.
go. So,
Yeah.
hey, Dad, get your ass in gear. Let's go.
Yeah, but it's a classic home invasion movie. They go away for the weekend, think they're gonna have a nice little family vacation, and they run
I don't know
into
if it's
these.
a nice little family vacation.
Well, they
It's-
think they're going
terrible
away
Hmm.
for a relaxing weekend at a family vacation home, and their stay turns out to be anything but peaceful, as said on.
Are you
on
reading
the
off
internet.
Wikipedia?
I just said yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
looked
they
it up
also
from
the guy the actor whose name I forget proposed to Liv Tyler at a wedding, and she said no, which is what sets off their little trip to the house because he had the whole thing planned out
right.
where he was going to celebrate with her, and she ended up turning him down for marriage,
Right.
and then those people invade.
Right.
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 So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a crucial element of the movie because that it adds that level of tension between those two characters.
Yeah.
Where yeah, you
They're
still
already
love
annoyed
each
with
other, right?
yeah.
But I still fucking
But I
I
still
kind of
hate
wish they'd
you
kill
and-
you,
Right.
But hey, still this psycho's invading the house. I'm going to protect you,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a fucked up movie. Again, another movie where things like this has happened and clearly could happen again. And
Absolutely.
it's really scary. I think horrifyingly scary.
Yeah.
The
It's
masks,
just it's so
terrifying.
easily real.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
almost I feel like that movie's like in the vein of Texas Chainsaw Massacre a bit. It's
Yeah.
like gritty, feels real.
Yeah.
Like it's just no frills, shit just happens.
Yeah.
The movie ends.
Well, just the content.
and it doesn't
too.
end.
It's like
it doesn't end in a happy way.
No.
Four people could
Like,
easily just go to some fucking
Right?
vacant
And it's
scene. Yeah, you know what I mean.
based on a true story,
Yeah.
like in quotation marks. So I feel like that movie owes a lot to Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
good pick though. That's a great movie.
Thank you.
Andrew, do you like this movie, Strangers?
Have you seen it?
Do I like The Strangers? That movie horrified me.
Yeah.
I thought that movie was so scary
Pretty scary.
because it's just real.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on our home invasion episode.
We did talk
Back
about it on the
back
home
over
invasion.
COVID,
Yeah.
we did best home invasion
yes,
movie.
yes, that we did. All right, so that means that we're back to Andrew, right?
No, it's
me.
Matt.
Oh, sorry, we're
I
to
had my
Matt. Sorry,
last
we're going the
two.
opposite way. We're on the
I
opposite.
thought I was
Sorry.
done, right?
I
No,
got
you
one
have
more.
one
I
more.
can't.
Oh, I got one
I
more.
can't keep track of the
The
order.
worm.
doing four.
You like
Worm.
worms
Yeah.
so much, you
Yeah.
figured you'd be able to keep track
Sorry.
of the snake.
All right, Matt.
So I'm gonna go with 2007 Robert Rodriguez's split feature, Planet Terror.
Ooh.
This movie rocks super hard. It's just completely out of fucking control from the beginning to the end. Extremely gruesome, wicked violent, really dark. There's a lot of really like over the line shit that happens in it. Basically, it's like a zombie movie. It's a government takeover movie. There's just so much shit going on in this whole thing, and it's filmed. The way it looks is insane the whole time. So there's a lot going on. It's disgusting. If you haven't seen it before, there's a great scene with Quentin Tarantino as a prison guard or like a military guard, and his body like just wicked good body horror scene. His body like decomposes, and he like vomits up his entire intestinal tract.
Yikes.
And it's
Jesus.
fucking out of control.
Yeah.
I remember like watching it the first time. I was pretty young. I was probably like 11 or 12. Same with The Hills Have Eyes. They came out about a year apart. And I was just like, whoa. Like, yeah, it's fucking gross.
This is the one with Rosario Dawson and
Yep.
Christina Ricci.
No,
what's her name?
hold on. I'll bring it
Or
up.
one
for
of the
you
girls
now.
has like the shotgun for the leg or something like that.
Well, that's Rosario. That's Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan. That's right. Not
And then
Christina
it's
Ricci.
Marley
Yeah.
Shelton.
Okay. All right. I knew it was somebody.
Bruce
like that.
Willis is in it. Josh Brolin is in it. Freddie Rodriguez.
Looks like Sin City's a phenomenal.
Fergie.
Love Sin City.
Same idea. Like it's the same
Yeah, Fergie
type of
Ferg
movie.
is in it.
Ferg.
Danny Trejo, of course. Cheech Marin, why not?
Yep.
Wild fucking movie. And then I also like the second half of the Grindhouse release thing that they did. Quentin Tarantino did Death Proof. That's a fun one too.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's in that.
And you get all the fake trailers in between everything
Yeah.
too, especially with the one based in Plymouth.
Yep.
The Thanksgiving one.
Did that come out with that? Didn't come out with that one, did it?
I thought it did, didn't it? I thought it was
don't know.
part of it.
I didn't
wasn't
see it in theaters, so maybe I missed that.
I think it was, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Okay. All right. Good pick, though. Those movies are cool, for sure.
Awesome.
I like the other one with Kurt Russell, too. Good.
Yeah,
good.
he said-
yeah,
Yeah,
not
Death Proof's cool.
not as good as the as that one, but
All right, so I'm gonna just be wicked fucking basic, and I'm gonna end mine with 2005 Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects.
That's fine. You can be
I had a
basic
feeling that was going
sometimes.
to go. Yeah.
Now I do love House of a Thousand Corpses, but The Devil's Rejects is a substantially better movie. It's made better. The story is not as fucking out of control. I mean, not that that's a bad thing, but like, it's a cooler fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's like almost like he really took it seriously and like wanted to make that. It's like a runaway kind of criminal thing, and it's good. Like there's some really fucking horrific fucking parts of this movie. The whole motel takeover is the whole middle. It's the whole second act of the movie. Fucking out of control, wicked, fucked up, super violent, invasive, very Rob Zombie-esque, and then you get to this cool like hideout like kind of vibe that they go with, like Ken Fourier and Ken Fourier, and they hang out, and then you have these vengeful cops whose brother was killed by them before who want to come and find him, and it has a fucking sick soundtrack. Definitely up there for horror soundtrack.
Great use of Freebird.
all time.
Yeah.
But Devil's Rejects, and I love House of a Thousand Corpses too. You don't have
They're
Devil's
both really
Rejects
good,
without
but
that.
Devil's Rejects is.
That's kind of it
Yeah.
for like my Rob Zombie love. Like his Halloween remake was okay, but it's
Yeah.
like the second one was ridiculous.
I don't understand like the glorification. Like he's good. He's solid.
I feel
Yeah,
like
he made a couple.
He,
He made some good
he
ones.
figured out how to
Yeah.
make a movie when he did
Yeah.
Devil's Rejects.
So that's
Yeah.
cool. Like
Yeah.
good for you.
But it's just
We're all
like
very happy.
he never makes like characters like lovable people.
No,
Which
they're
I
just-
think that's what kind of like is his downfall, because it's like you can't have Halloween like if you fucking hate every person in the movie.
No.
Like
Yeah.
You gotta
they're
like
all
somebody.
pieces of shit. Like
Yeah.
so, you know what I mean?
Like you're rooting for Michael Myers in that movie almost.
I think
Like,
that's just
you know,
his
like,
angle.
Yeah.
You kind of are rooting for the Firefly family the whole time throughout
Yeah.
both of the other movies, and Three from Hell was fucking stupid. So
Yeah, I still haven't seen Three from Hell. Did you see Three from Hell?
No, I have
No.
not.
Okay. All right.
I
Well,
feel
yeah,
like-
Devil's Rejects.
yeah.
I had a feeling might get picked, but go
It's
ahead.
an awesome
Sorry.
movie. No, that's it. Cat's
Okay.
turn.
Gato.
And I'm back again.
Guess who's back again?
My next pick. Are you guys ready for this?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
It is It was released in 2001,
Okay.
and it's another remake. Remake!
The Ring.
No, I'm just
No, Ring was out too, right?
So it originally was a 1960 film called 13 Ghosts.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Nice
She also
choice.
called
I thought you
13
might.
Ghosts.
I thought that was on your radar for sure.
Yeah,
13 Ghosts.
I like this movie. I liked this movie when I was younger. I like it now still because I think it's fun. It's got what Shannon Elizabeth.
I like Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Yeah, Shannon
I like
Elizabeth.
Shannon
Do you?
Elizabeth.
Big
Do you?
surprise.
Matthew Lillard,
Matthew
Yep,
Lillard,
he's awesome in this.
Monk.
Tony Shalhoub.
I'm dying over
Tony
here, man.
Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah,
Monk.
I like it's kind of got that vibe from like it's the original like Cabin in the Woods kind of thing with all the different ghosts kind of in the little glass cases.
Yeah,
like
I can
Yeah,
see that. Yeah,
it's
kind
you're
of
right
that
on. That's
same
on point.
that same vibe, and I
For
liked
sure.
I liked that vibe. I liked how they had all the different monsters and stuff, and I thought it was pretty cool.
When's the last time you watched it?
A long time ago.
Me and Sarah watched it last year. It's not that good anymore.
No?
It doesn't hold up. I was like, damn. It's like not bad, but like it's like super cheesy. Like it's like kind of like the House on Haunted Hill remake.
Really?
You're like, wow, I remember loving that movie. And then you watch it, you're like, oh, this is like mad goofy.
Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
With
It's still fun though.
With Jeffrey Rush and
Ali Larder. or
Yeah,
whatever,
that one. Yep.
I think no, it's like a Vincent Price lookalike.
Yes, that's Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah.
Should I take it back then?
No.
No, you already picked it. You can't
As I'm
take
saying,
it back.
but like watch it again, you'll be like, oh, this movie's like a cheese ball.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a pick, but
Yeah.
I think what he's trying to say is like some of these movies, might not hold up as well as
Yeah.
you think they might. If you rewatch and be like, wow, that isn't as good as I remember it being.
Like even Sarah was like,
like-
oh my god, like that movie was like, because she hates horror movies, but she was still like, oh,
That was
like,
really
I like
good.
that. And we watched it, we were like, wow, that was kind of like,
Yeah.
that was pretty
Kinda
whack.
dumb. Yeah. Aw.
The original 13 Ghosts is pretty good. The black and white one,
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
it's
one.
pretty cool. It's also wicked cheesy. but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember it being cheesy.
Sounds about right.
But
No, you'll definitely watch it. And you'll be like, oh yeah.
oh no.
No, but not in a bad way. Like it's still a fun movie, but it's funny. Yeah.
Now I wish I picked something else.
Oh, you
We have our
be
honorable
confident in your
mentions.
pick. You're
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, you're
All
good.
right.
13 Ghosts. There it is.
Boo. All right,
Andrew.
go ahead, Andrew.
This may be questionable. I'm going to go with the 2007 Coen Brothers feature film No Country for Old Men.
Ooh.
I feel like that's a horror movie.
I feel like you've drafted
I feel like
that
Jaguar
before.
is probably one of the
talked-
most horrific characters that there could possibly
So
be.
we talked about this movie on the episode we did that was the scariest non-horror movies.
Yes.
That's when we talked
I was
about
like,
that.
you've
Yes.
drafted that before.
I don't know. If
I
it was a
love
draft.
this movie.
I do too.
This
I think
is
it's my favorite Coen
It's
Brothers
my
movie.
favorite Coen Brothers movie.
But I think
and
it's by a
so
mile.
fucked, and it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
You would have you seen Blood Simple?
Yes.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say if you haven't seen, you'd love Blood Simple.
Yeah, Blood Simple's awesome. I just think this movie's great. I mean, Javier Bardem is great
perfect.
in it.
As a villain, he's one of the best villains
Yeah.
to ever be.
He's a terrifying on-screen presence.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that
Is
character...
it a horror movie, though?
I think he's
I don't think so.
he's a horrific character.
He's a horrific character, but is this a horror movie?
It's an action, drama,
Good
thriller.
question.
I'd call it a thriller.
Yeah, I'd call it thriller, too. Which leads me to my next pick, because that doesn't count.
I would
Oh,
put it.
why
I would
does he
put it
get
in
two
a.
picks?
I
I
would
can't
put it
pick
in.
that as a movie. That can't be count. That can't count, right?
I would put it in a category with Zodiac.
So you threw
Yeah.
it out there
When
as
you
like
pick
JK.
Zodiac, yeah.
I mean, I think Zodiac is way more of a
Seven,
horror movie than No
Silence
Country
of the
for Old
Lambs.
Men.
I feel like they're all...
Sounds of the Lamb is definitely a
Prisoners is a horror movie.
I think so
100%.
too. What year did Prisoners come out? Oh wait,
That's 2000.
Yeah, that's in the 2000s.
12s. So
Is
it's
it?
going to be in the
Okay.
next
All right,
draft.
All right, fair enough. Movie's great.
Well, if I can't pick this movie, which...
You can pick whatever you
Okay, I'll
want.
pick
You
it.
think Zodiac's
I'm
on
just
the
trying to
same
get two
par with
picks
like?
in
Yeah, I mean they're just like
Yeah,
real, like there's no like real like
It's not a
they're
horror movie.
violent and they're gruesome. And
I mean,
they're-
honestly, I'm
It's
not
a
gonna- I'm not
horrifying
gonna-
experience
I'm-
for
yeah,
anybody,
I'm not
especially
gonna-
Woody Harrelson.
I'm not. Yeah,
Terrible.
dude. Woody gets done dirty. in
And
that
the
movie.
stapler guy, that sucks for him.
Oh yeah.
That's my stapler.
What's his name?
Gets
oh, yeah,
blown
yeah,
away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
love that movie.
I do.
I mean,
I do
if you want
agree
to stick
that-
with No Country,
I
I'd
mean,
be
it
okay
was
with
on
that.
one of those countdown things.
Yeah, it was. It actually was. 100%.
I would
generally
knock
The
it.
character of Anton's
is a
Anton
horrifying
Chigurh.
character.
I'm just saying that I think that and Zodiac are in the same realm of being like they're just realistic. You know what I mean? There's no
horror.
supernatural thing
Yeah.
to them.
That's the type of horror that we would experience.
But it's not. It's also not like a balls to the wall, like a Devil's Rejects. Like,
Not at
you know
all.
what I
It's
mean?
like a lot of random dialogue from Tommy Lee Jones just mumbling into a microphone. Going,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
Well, if it ain't a mess, it'll do till the mess gets here.
yeah. You know
Yeah.
what movie Tommy Lee Jones I think is awesome in? I think it's one of his best roles.
Batman Forever.
Natural Born Killers.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Forgot about
The
him in
prison
that.
warden.
Yeah.
Good
Wow.
old Oliver
Maniac.
Stone movie.
Yeah, absolute maniac.
Oh boy! All right, so that means we're to me, right?
Yeah.
It's on you.
You're the last one.
Well, I feel like I have to pick this movie because it's here. It's not as popular as some of the other big movies from this decade. It was between this and one other movie for me, so I'll do honorable mentions whenever people want to do them. I'm going with The Mist.
Oh,
Nice.
I was
Frank Darabont's The Mist.
I was
2000.
holding
that
that
someone
for you.
was gonna
I was
pick
like,
that.
I was saving that for you, Mike. 'cause I
There's
knew that's
slithering
what
things in that.
So we there are slithering things. Yep, big monsters in the mist.
H.P. Lovecraft
We talked about
loves
this movie on the show, so I was hesitant to pick it, but it was still here. I feel like I can't not pick it with what's left. I love this movie through and through. It's my favorite Stephen King short story, and I think that this is one of the few examples of where they take the source material and they expand upon it in a way that's better.
One of the most brutal endings of
Oh
all
my
time.
god, horrible
It's
ending.
the part of the worst ending.
And I think this movie, the short story is very, very good, and the movie is great. This
Yeah.
is a great movie,
Awesome movie.
with an ensemble cast. There's nobody in the movie except for maybe Marcia Gay Harden,
I
who
hate
is like
her
famous.
in this
And
movie.
she's
But that's
the
why
worst,
she's
yeah.
effective. She's great in this movie because you hate her because you want
You know
to
who
want
else
her
is
to
in
die.
this movie?
She,
so
like,
bad.
makes
It's
me hate
every
her in every
character
other
that
movie.
was in Storm of the Century. It's like all the
And
same
also,
characters. They
the
have
Green
all
Mile,
the same. Yeah, they
like,
have all the same
a
characters.
lot of people from there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Stephen
Stephen
King
King
knows
actors
who he likes,
reused
yeah.
here. So,
Yeah.
but I think it's a great story. It's great classic Stephen King. Like, you know, people trapped in a main town in one location. There's an author
There's
slash
a worm.
graphic
There's
designer
a big worm
as the main
trying to
character.
take
There's
over.
monsters in the mist. There's some sort of a government conspiracy where this government was doing some shit out in the mountains, and all of a
It got
sudden, like,
uncontained, yeah.
they ripped a hole in the fabric of our universe, and now these weird monsters are coming through, and there's this mist, and all these creatures start coming through, and the creatures look awesome in this. You don't even really see all of them.
Very
for the most part. You
CGI,
see a
but it's
lot
not
of them,
like
but
that
it's not
shitty.
terrible.
No,
No,
it's
it's
pretty-
very,
it's pretty
very
good.
what's worm-like.
worm. No, they're not all.
Well, there's
worm.
that like one thing that gets
Round.
that like
Yeah, there's,
nerdy.
like,
What
those,
I'd
dinosaur
say,
spiders.
what
like,
I'd say is they're very Lovecraftian.
Yes, you love Lovecraft.
I
you
do.
love
I
to
do.
Lovecraft.
I do. But
Nothing wrong with
also, biggest gut punch ending of all time. Like we talked about it.
that's
Horrible.
the most
If you haven't
horrible.
seen this movie and you haven't seen the ending, I won't spoil it for you. But like, my God, like you watch this movie, you need to watch an episode of Always Sunny or South Park and take a cold shower afterwards. You're like, Jesus Christ, I need to fucking.
There's very few endings that.
Yeah, it's a dark ending. And I know, like, if you want more thoughts on it, go back and listen to the episode we did on The Mist. Great movie. I think probably one of the, like, 3 or 4 great Stephen King movies.
Yeah.
Up there with the dark.
Great. When I say great, I mean great. Up there.
When I said the
Dark
half,
Half.
I mean,
yeah,
it's
great.
no Langoliers, but yeah.
yes. Like I
no
honestly,
Nightflyer.
like a hot take. I consider The Mist probably up there to me with like The Shining,
Tommy
Doctor
Knockers,
Sleep,
that's up there.
like Shining, Doctor Sleep, Shawshank Redemption, The
Wow.
Mist.
Okay.
Like up
Doctor
there.
Sleep
I
is
love
Stephen
it.
King.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. You're right. Well, whatever.
Thing?
You can't reuse the same movie twice.
What are you talking about? I mean, I had to pick it.
No, not allowed.
I mean, I'll give you
you're
honorable
right.
mentions. You
I
want
get
honorable
you.
mentions?
Yeah,
Some of
you're
my
right.
honorable
I get
mentions
you.
have already been
I'm
talked
just
about.
fine.
Doctor Sleep's like 2020.
Doctor Sleep. Yeah, I know.
We did an episode on Doctor
I
Sleep.
know, but
Yeah.
doesn't count.
All right. So do we?
It's gotta be
do,
pre-
I definitely have honorable mentions.
I do
I
too.
got
Do you
a
want
lot.
you want
I
to do
feel
them
like
now,
7.
or
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do you feel confident
Roll
that
through 'em.
nobody will mention?
We
your
should.
No, we're
movie?
done. This
We're
is
all
it.
done.
We're done.
Yeah,
We've all
everyone's done.
drafted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Oh shit, we're done. Fuck.
Hello.
This is it.
I've lost track. Jesus
Roll
Christ.
through them. We'll roll through them.
All right, so Kat, why don't you start with your honorable mentions?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I
Why don't you?
start?
Yeah, why don't you start? How about
Oh,
that? Yeah.
All right. All right, well, I'll have to go in no specific order.
That's good. Go in any order.
All right. I have What Lies Beneath.
Okay.
I thought that was going to be one of your main picks.
It was
You didn't
gonna
pick
be.
it?
I really messed this up. I was
Michelle Pfeiffer?
overthinking it.
Well, you got
Yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes, so I mean,
Good old
know.
Harrison
Yeah.
Ford.
Harrison Ford.
You
Michelle
did get The
Pfeiffer.
Hills Have Eyes.
House of Wax.
the good old Fife.
I love House of
Well,
Wax.
the Vincent Price one? But that's like so
I
old.
still listen. No, the
Paris
new
Hilton.
one.
Yeah,
That's
Paris
actually
Hilton
not a
looking
bad
hot.
remake,
No.
though. It's
That's
not a bad
actually
remake
Alicia
at all.
Cuthbert's in that?
As
still,
is Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Their
two
soundtrack. I listen to the
bombshells.
soundtrack on Spotify all the time. The music's awesome for that.
Is
that
it like
movie.
butt
Okay.
rock?
No, it's not.
90s butt rock?
Lot of saliva.
It's like,
Andrew, yes.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
sounds about right.
Deftones and
It's-
Disturbed,
Yeah.
and it's got
Wait,
like,
Deftones are on that?
Disturbed
Yeah.
is
What
in
Deftones
butt
songs
rock?
on that?
Minerva.
Is Minerva on that?
Yes.
Okay, that
Well,
movie
that's-
rocks then. Sorry. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
If you say Disturbed, I think butt rock. So.
Pitch Black,
Oh, you took my movie.
Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
Boom!
There's some creepy parts in that.
Thank you.
When they see the little girl in the woods, that girl's fucking
Yes, and
scary
she's
looking.
like in going backwards.
Yeah.
It's wicked creepy.
Wicked fucking creepy.
I had The Others with Nicole Kidman.
What
I-
have you done with my daughter?
But I am your
I am
daughter.
your daughter.
Mommy.
Trick or Treat, which I.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised that you didn't pick that.
I love that movie, but I thought it was too
And we
popular.
I think it's
podcasted
one of
on
the-
it,
yeah.
so I knew Mike was going to pick that.
Cloverfield.
Cool.
I had that on my list as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Are you
The
going to just pick
Skeleton
every
Key.
movie? Oh, the
Oh,
Skeleton
Skeleton
Key
Key's
with
You actually
Kate
didn't pick
Hudson?
any of my
Yeah.
honorable
Awesome
mentions.
movie, actually.
Yeah.
That movie's so good.
That was a really good movie. Yeah, that was a good movie.
So
Those are all my honorable mentions. I had a lot.
if The Ring was on the table, would that obviously would have been one of your picks, right?
Saw would have been 1, Ring would have been 2.
Grudge?
House of Eyes would have
Fair
been
enough.
3. Grudge. Oh, did I not mention that? That was
No.
that. I felt like I didn't
I
talk
like
about that
Saw.
either.
I would have thrown if
Saw's-
I would have.
I-
the first
Saw
the
is-
first Saw we talked about this
Yeah.
is a great movie.
Saw 2
It's a
is
7
fucking good, too.
ripoff,
But that's
it's
a movie.
great
But that's a
movie.
movie you
It's a
can't
great
bring up.
movie.
That's easily like probably the most iconic, best.
Right.
It's like The
horror
Exorcist
movie.
of the
You can't
2000s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all appreciate that movie. Correct? We didn't just leave that out for no,
No,
reason.
no, of course
but
not.
it's too basic.
As we all know.
It's too basic.
I even felt like kind of shitty picking The Devil's Rejects. I was like, oh, this is kind of like a fucking meta pick.
But it is. But it's only if you like Rob Zombie movies.
it's like I only like those
like
ones.
Those
though. Yeah.
certain Rob Zombie movies.
But I'll give some love with my.
Fair
like
enough.
by no means
gotta
the
give-
same thing that I did with like the '90s
Yeah,
one.
you can
Like,
only pick
these
so
aren't
many movies.
what I think are the best movies.
But they're the
Right.
ones
But
you
they're
want
the
the
ones you
ones
want
that
to
I
talk
like.
about.
What did you
Yeah.
have for your honorable mentions?
Oh, my omissions. I have
Honorable
Now, honorable
mentions?
mention.
Jeepers Creepers.
That's
I
a
had that
yeah.
one.
Awesome
Good pick.
movie.
Yep.
I had Pitch Black, but you picked that. That
That's
was
an
almost,
honorable mention.
Yeah.
You can pick it too.
Okay.
No, we're maybe. Yeah.
The Ruins. I love that.
Ooh.
movie.
The Ruins. Oh, I forgot to write that
It's a
one.
very
down.
good movie.
one. Yep.
What else did I have? Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah.
Bruce Campbell.
I'm surprised you didn't pick that.
Shadow of a Vampire. You ever seen that with
Yeah,
Willem
with
Dafoe?
Willem
as
Dafoe?
Nosferatu.
Yep, and it's that bald-headed fuck Malkovich.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich. That's a solid movie.
Yeah,
Not really a
it's
horror movie.
Interesting.
It's kind
movie.
of like-
dude, what
it's
Defoe
about a horror movie.
looks like.
Yeah.
He looks
It's
like
about
Max
a horror
Shrek.
movie,
It's
yeah.
like that. That is scarier.
He's supposed
like,
to play him in Robert Eggers' Nosferatu too.
Really?
sounds
Oh,
awesome.
that sounds great. That sounds great. Anything else?
But Shaun of the Dead, but we.
Yeah, I had Shaun of the
I
Dead,
love
too.
Shaun of the Dead. I think
That's
I said
probably
that
my
earlier.
favorite zombie movie.
Yeah.
2004, Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Yeah, that's a great one too.
Yeah,
I mean, I
shied
feel
away
like
from that one.
yeah, that's definitely one that people.
I tried to like not. The only remakes I had were, I think, The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the only movie that's better than the original,
Yeah.
other than Evil Dead, maybe.
That's 2013 though.
No, I know, but I'm saying like
Oh,
as
just
a
in
remake.
general?
As a remake,
Yeah.
maybe.
What year was
Evil
the
Dead
what
remake was
what
good.
year was the Jessica Biel Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
2003.
Oh.
There's one.
Shit.
Just because they're tits.
I think it's a really good
It is a
movie.
really
It is-
good
it
movie.
is-
Movie
it's
is
an-
actually
it's
that's
not a bad
actually
movie.
that's actually.
I also
pretty
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. That's one of mine.
the beginning.
I obviously everyone's going to gravitate towards Jessica Biel in that, but I think that they take the plot of the movie and they actually expand upon it. I think it's a more interesting plot, and there's a better
probably
reason
right.
for them to be where they are.
They just got rid of the cannibalism,
Right? Yeah, exactly.
which in
So-
my opinion is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's
Also, I mean, obviously saw Shaun of the Dead, The Ring. I had. I was really, really, really close to picking 28 Days Later, but I felt like that was
I
a
had
movie,
that
and
on
we
my
talked
list.
about
Oh,
that
I thought we
earlier.
were- yeah, I didn't
we talked
think
about
about
that
that.
way early on in the podcast. I'd actually
that's
like.
a classic top 10 movies.
We were rookie podcasters when we talked about that movie, so I'm sure the conversation was not that
Terrible.
great.
I also wasn't on that podcast.
That movie's
so
also very,
Why
very
weren't you on
scary.
that
I was doing something else. I wasn't there. It was
Craig
Seth,
was
that was
there.
with Seth and
Just-
Craig. Or Seth Craig
It was
or
me,
Matt and Craig.
you, Seth,
No,
and
I wasn't
Craig.
on that.
Oh, I didn't remember
I wasn't.
that.
No,
Shit.
I wasn't on.
I also had Trick or Treat, which again we did a podcast on that. If you want my thoughts, go listen to that. Paranormal Activity is a
Yeah.
fantastic.
I
movie.
had that on mine too.
I also had Open Water, which is a great shark movie.
Yeah,
Very, very
that's a
scary.
Really good one.
Had
Sharks, no worms.
No worms.
no worms. Had Cloverfield, and also I think probably people will gravitate towards Ginger Snaps, but in my opinion, the best werewolf movie of the 2000s is a movie called Dog Soldiers. Which is
Dog Soldiers
directed
is cool.
by Neil Marshall, who directed The Descent. Mm-hmm. And if you've never seen Dog Soldiers, go watch it. It's about a group of Scottish soldiers that go on a training mission in the Scottish Highlands, and they start being hunted by werewolves. And it's essentially the Scottish army being hunted by werewolves in the woods. It's fucking sick. It's really, really good. Awesome werewolf effects, very gory. If you like werewolf shit, go watch Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, movie's wild.
Yeah, so that's what I had.
And then Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah, with Brendan Fraser.
Monkey
and,
Bone.
Yeah, Monkey Bone. Blast from the
Encino
Past.
Man.
Airheads.
Yeah.
Did you not mention
Steve Buscemi.
in
Awesome.
the 90s the Island of Dr. Moreau?
You didn't even mention the island. How should I mention the island?
I never said that was a good
Didn't you
movie.
mention it in the 70s one?
No, you didn't. I said Dr. Fives.
That's what it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Not
one,
Moreau, Fives.
one of the funniest recurring jokes ever is that one time
Angela Lansbury.
we all
that's
so we've all
another
had
good
moron
one.
moments in the podcast. One of Andrew's moron moments was he was drunk and he just randomly out of nowhere said, "Have you guys ever seen The Island of Dr. Moreau?" Like the Marlon Brando Val Kilmer movie, and we fucking died laughing.
like,
It was so
what the hell?
fucking funny.
That's
Like,
out of
what?
left
What are you
field.
talking about? It's so funny. So yeah, I can't
Clearly,
believe
everybody's seen
that
that.
you didn't mention that movie.
Because
So
it's terrible.
all right, we got
Is
any more?
I have a handful.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
got, Matt?
Matt
What do you
did
got? What do you got? That's what I was asking. Yeah.
So I have to start just because I didn't write it down, but I thought of it. Lawrence Kasdan's 2003 Dreamcatcher.
Ooh.
See, that movie's so bad, though.
It
The
is
old
super
man with
bad.
Damian Lewis.
But I love
love
the
that
first
scene.
half of it,
Yeah.
and then it just gets kind of ridiculous. Jason Lee's wicked funny.
Jason Lee, you got the shit wheels.
2008 Pascal Laugier Martyrs, French movie, super fucked up.
Okay.
You'll like it,
I would.
Andrew. I have
So many
David R.
movies to
Ellis,
watch.
2003 Final Destination 2. Which made
Destination
everyone
2.
afraid to drive behind
Oh,
any
is
sort
that
of
the
truck
trucks with,
carrying
like, the
the
logs?
freeway
Yeah.
accident.
I'm surprised you didn't have it Final Destination anywhere on.
She's never
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it.
She said she's never seen it.
What?
I don't know, I
With
think
Devon
so.
Sawa? No, of
I
course.
don't know, though.
Oh,
Maybe
my
I have.
God.
I don't remember.
All right. Go
I
ahead.
have James Gunn, Slither,
Slither.
2006.
Yeah, I can't
Great
believe nobody
fucking
mentioned that
movie.
before. That's a great movie.
More
Worms.
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 Yeah, worms.
I have Takashi Mike, 2001, Ichi the Killer, which is another really, really fucking brutal Japanese movie. 2003 Ronnie Yu, Freddy vs. Jason. You can't talk about the
Oh, I don't know.
2000s.
See, I'd rather go with
without that.
Alien versus Predator.
No,
I love
no,
those
no, no, no,
movies.
no, no, no. Absolutely not.
No.
No. Alien vs. Predator is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It is, but it's so
Matt's T-shirt says it all to you right now. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Requiem. I don't know that movie.
2001 Brad Anderson, Session 9.
Oh,
Mike
great
was talking
movie.
about that movie. I
Yeah,
don't know if I've seen
That was filmed in Massachusetts.
that was Danvers State Asylum.
And then I'm going to end my final honorable mention with, I guess this would kind of be like Andrew's No Country for Old Men, 2000, Darren Aronofsky's Requiem for a Dream.
I
Kat
love
loves that
that
movie.
movie.
Weird movie to love.
I know.
I got one more for you too. Also came out in the year 2000, so on the borderline of the 2000s. American Psycho.
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
2000. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's a horror movie.
Oh, 100%. I took.
It's got
I-
Jared
is.
Leto in it.
yeah, Jared Leto.
Leto. Yeah, Leto.
clearly
Andrew's the biggest
Jared,
defender of the
Jared
fact
Leto
that
had
this
a...
is
Yeah,
Jared
he was
Leto.
Requiem for a Dream, too.
Yeah, he
But it was Jared Leto. Not
Leto.
Leto.
Whatever. Liam Nielsen.
Ellen Burstyn
Jared
gave-
Leto.
You
her
defend
best
his
performance
last
I've
name
ever
more
seen.
than anybody else I've ever met.
Because I
in
know
my
it's not
entire life.
Leto. Leto.
Lita.
Oh, it's not that.
Requiem
Ellen
for a Dream is a
Burstyn
good
in that
soundtrack,
movie-
too.
Yeah, it does. It's
Her existence is terrifying. I feel like what she experiences. I feel like it's
Who?
just like Ellen Burstyn.
Oh,
my
and
God. It's-
Requiem for a
Oh
Dream.
my God, yeah.
It's
just like-
incredibly,
Yeah.
incredibly
so sad.
The
Yeah.
whole
depressing.
movie is uncomfortable
Ugh, God,
from
yeah.
beginning to end.
It's that's a
Talking about a
vicious-
movie that
vicious
makes you
horror movie.
feel less.
It's like
safe
Train
in
Spotting.
humanity. Oh, Train Spotting's horrible too.
Yeah, there's some sequences in Train Spotting that are unbearable.
Yeah.
For sure. So, especially once you now that I have a
Yikes.
kid.
Yeah. God, I know, right? All right, guys.
Anyways,
so I think that wraps it up for the draft.
Ready to put a
All right,
bow
so
on
why
this?
don't we
Yeah.
why don't we go back and why don't we state who everybody drafted? Who would like
Okay.
to start? Kat,
Yeah.
why don't we start with Yay?
With me. Okay. Yeah, sure. My first pick was The Hills Have Eyes.
Okay.
Then I picked Hostel.
Okay.
Then The Strangers. And I kind of regret picking 13 Ghosts.
I didn't mean to throw you
I
off.
It doesn't
kinda
matter. You still
regret
like it. It's fine.
Picking 13 Ghosts, yeah.
So I picked 2008 Let the Right One In, and then I picked 2002 May. I also missed something in between there, which was I don't remember.
Midnight Meat Train.
Midnight Meat Train.
Yes, that's correct.
And then I picked not Pitch Black. I pitched No Country for Old Men.
You pitched a no hitter. Yeah.
And then I pitched Sheep Tent. My pants.
You have like Rain Man
Pants
notes over
test.
there.
Yeah,
Insane.
No wonder why I don't know.
Charlie Day.
It's like,
It's like
that's
just
the
words all
coherent.
over the
Mark.
place.
Doormarked
Pirate.
pirate. Yeah, doormarked pirate.
It's private.
That says private.
It says private.
I think that was it, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
a pirate
All
was.
right,
I
good.
think a pirate was in there.
Wait, I, wanna
I
see
didn't know I had to
these.
reread my
Crazy.
shit.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
Well, we did it last time, so
I'm just
why
fucking
would-
with you. I know.
All right, so I picked from the year 2000 Hollow Man, followed by from the year 2006 Silent Hill, followed by Zodiac from the year 2007, and polished it off with also from the year 2007 The Mist, a Stephen King adaptation.
Mike loves to polish it off.
I'll polish you, Mr. Audette.
All right, so I had The Descent, 2005, Neil Marshall.
Awesome pick.
And then I had 2002, Cabin Fever by Eli Roth. And then I had Planet Terror, 2007, Robert Rodriguez. And then The Devil's Rejects, 2005, with Rob Zombie.
By
Very
Rob
nice.
Zombie.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, guys. So what do we say? Want to do one more next Monday on
I mean,
2010s?
Might as
Yeah.
well.
Let's-
I already
let's,
got so many.
yeah,
I think we
let's
should
do this.
I want to do 6.
I think we're
6
going to get in
rounds.
some debates. Because
Six rounds?
I
I
think
think it should be six
we
rounds.
have a fork in the road at some of these
Yeah.
movies
Yeah,
in
I
the
think so
2010s.
too. I think so too. So, all right, let's do that next week. And yeah, hey, you guys will come back and listen to us next week regardless, because here we are. We're just doing episodes. So, you know.
Some March Madness.
Yeah,
Just
March
doing
Madness.
shit.
March
Doing shit
Madness.
and doing shit.
All right, well, it's going to wrap it up for another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode about the 2000s. Tune back next week where we're going to do an episode in the 2010s. And,
Do we
yeah,
got to wait
thanks.
10 years to do the next one?
Right.
Roaring
Yeah.
teens and then the roaring 20s.
Yeah. Thanks to my usual co-hosts, Andrew and Kat.
Adios.
Kat, welcome back. Happy to have you
Thanks.
back. And,
I
yeah.
was welcomed back last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, that was last week and totally not earlier tonight. And Matt, thanks again for coming
Yes,
on
sir.
for another episode. We look forward to having you back next week.
Thank you.
Guys, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
To your
Adios,
audience.
muchachos.
Adios,
Amazing.
muchachos.
You
Get some
can't
of my
do
shit.
take mine. That's mine. You can't do that. You can't say that.
Have you ever seen the island of Dr. Moreau?
Have you ever seen the island of Fuck You?
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.